Raphael, on April 14, 2018, two people were driving when they came across a large, red blob slowly making its way across the middle of the road. The pair were curious about what it was, so they decided to stop their car and get out for a closer inspection. What could the couple have encountered when they were 45 miles from Orlando, Florida? They found a tortoise shell, legs, and red paint. They both carefully picked up the tortoise toys and placed them into the car to drive them over to an animal welfare center. They called it Swamp Girls Adventures. Removing the paint and concrete from the tortoise twice is a challenging process, which unfortunately causes the animal. It was important for the staff to try everything to immediately get the paint off in a fast and safe manner, as if the paint is absorbed, it can greatly damage the tortoise organs. The paint itself can also prevent them from obtaining nutrients from the sunlight and damage the tortoise of skin. If the tortoise breathes the paint in, it can cause respiratory illness. Not to mention the red paint would make him stand out to predators. Concrete and paint can also stunt a tortoise growth, especially in the tortoise skewed or bony underlay underneath it. The staff there named the tortoise Raphael after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After 4 days, they were able to get Raphael about 70% cleaned up after they gently chipped away the concrete and the red paint off. He was shortly released. The staff think that it wasn't a simple case of Raphael stumbling along a paint site. They think that someone deliberately covered him in the red paint, perhaps as a cruel prank. What do you think? FWV investigators visited locations near where Raphael was seen and found a gopher tortoise burrow covered in fresh paint. Behind a business called Ram Stripping, the owner told investigators that his employees are supposed to dispose of paint on the property by spraying paint into a 5-gallon bucket, letting it dry, and later throwing away the bucket. An employee of the business, Edwin Escalera, told FWC officials that he was in a hurry that morning of April 14, 2018, while cleaning out the spray. He sprayed the paint into a 5-gallon bucket, but instead of waiting for it to dry, he dumped the paint into a hole behind a shop. Edwin insisted that he never saw a tortoise in the burrow when he dumped the paint inside. According to the report, Edwin also told the investigators he didn't know how cement ended up in the burrow. FWC officers found an open bag of cement inside the business and paint sprayed on the grass surrounding the burrow. He was later charged with littering, hazardous waste, and unlawful possession of a gopher tortoise, which are listed as a protected species in Florida. Their burrows also house other endangered species. It's illegal and harmful to a gopher tortoise to apply man-made substances, such as paint or concrete, to any part of their body or shell. They reach maturity at 10 to 15 years of age and are considered a long-lived tortoise. Red monkey. A monkey in Taiwan is seen alone. He looks different from the other monkeys. The lonely monkey was seen wandering a park alone after being outcast from his tribe, following what is thought to have been a prank. The juvenile Formosa stone monkey was originally discovered by visitor Lu Chang. Lu was hiking along the park when he claimed to see animals that he believed to be a bright red monkey species. However, when he looked closely at the camera, Lu realized that the animal was a fur monkey or an ordinary Taiwanese monkey. However, the color of the fur was washed with red paint. He thought the situation was incredibly sad as the monkey looked all sad and lonely. Experts believe the monkey may be traumatized or shocked. The bright red color might be considered strange to the herd, causing it to be removed. The Yilan County Agricultural Bureau suspected that the red-colored monkeys were probably due to the animal being caught and deliberately splashed with liquid. They speculated that monkeys were captured by farmers who were angry because the harvest was damaged by a monkey. Authorities have sent a team to the ranch and botanical garden to find the monkey and bring him in for an exam. They need to check if the paint is poisonous, then the monkey is clean so that its appearance returns to normal. The local Ministry of Agriculture has issued fines of up to 300,000 Taiwanese dollars for perpetrators who soak monkeys with paint. Manika. Dogs are unfailing, loyal, and affectionate, following their owners anywhere and providing a seemingly endless supply of love, joy, and devotion. However, not everyone is an animal lover, and that's okay. Some people have a definite affinity for cats, dogs, or even more exotic pets, such as birds, fish, or reptiles. Others prefer not to associate with animals. There are a number of reasons such as allergies, phobias, and money. As to why a person would choose not to share their lives with a pet, people who choose to keep pets are making an unspoken oath to protect and care for that animal, and yet some people can be very unkind to their pets. They can neglect them, starve them, allow them to live in filth, or even abuse them. This sadly happens all too often. Carlos Gemez posted a photo of a small white terrier to social media. He showed several images of the dog. The little dog was called Manika, which means doll in Spanish. Manika was painted blue and forced to drink solvent and paint. Carlos also wounded in with an ice pick. The little terrier was later found suffering and abandoned in a warehouse in the city of Michoacán. Manika was taken to a nearby vet, and despite the staff's best attempts, Manika sadly didn't make it. The man who called himself Carlos Jimenez deleted the pictures from his social media accounts. However, the photos were seen by animal lovers who were shocked and disgusted at the image. They immediately forwarded them over to the police. An online petition was later created urging the authorities to track down the man and punish him for allegedly torturing a defenseless animal. Today, it was a dog, but tomorrow it could be a person. No one should be okay with another defenseless being getting hurt and the perpetrators going unpunished. The petition garnered over 16,000 signatures calling forthright for the perpetrators to be brought to justice in the small town where everyone knows each other. Someone is his neighbor, acquaintance, shopkeeper. His boss rewards were offered for anyone with information that could help locate the person in question. Michoacán, one of the states of Mexico with the highest rates of violence against animals. Unfortunately, the authorities never received sufficient information, which meant that the person responsible was never brought to justice. Smurf and Shrek. Cats are notoriously independent and stubborn, accepting human affection only when they wish to, and always on their own terms. When United Kingdom-based cat shelter Bradford Cat Watch Rescue received a call from the police about 2 neglected kittens, they had no idea what they were informed. Bradford Cat Watch Rescue is a voluntary organization that cares for abandoned and mistreated cats. Still, they figured that since they had rescued countless cats over the years, they likely wouldn't be too surprised at whatever they were about to face. However, when the volunteers finally arrived at the shelter, they realized the situation was so much different from anything that ever experienced. They discovered 2 kittens who were estimated to be just 1 month old in this shocking condition. Someone seemed to have colored in their white fur with permanent markers, leaving them blue and green respectively. The charity was told the cats were blue and so brought out a nebulizer ready for their arrival, but was totally shocked when they discovered that they had been drawn on with permanent marker. At first, staff believed they were getting cats with breathing difficulties because they were blue. The shelter staff took in the poor cats and started treating them immediately. They knew they had almost no time to spare. It's difficult to imagine how any animal lover or pet owner could ever decide to abuse the furry friends in any possible way. Yet cases of animal abuse and neglect are reported around the world every single day, and sadly, they don't seem to be nearing an end. Volunteers at the Bradford Cat Watch Rescue name the kittens Shrek and Smurf for their respective colors. The rescue center considers themselves to be unshockable. They have dealt with most situations, but Shrek and Smurf were a first. The staff gave the pair of kittens bottles to milk and prepared many baths for them. But they had to be very careful not to do too much at once or else they'd be overwhelmed. They were so tiny after all, the kittens couldn't handle so much stress in a short period of time. For this reason, it was important that the team treated them as delicately as humanly possible. These poor little animals had endured so much up to that point. Volunteers at the charity were all very vigilant to not get any of the market solution in their eyes or mouths. Cleaning the traumatized kitten was a long and difficult process, but it was necessary. They simply had to be as careful and as gentle as possible. The staff had been bathing them repeatedly in surgical spirit and a special scrub to remove the dye from their fur. They'd also gave a ton of reassuring cuddles, and the kittens looked grateful to have shed their terrible, abusive past. Still, they remained relatively shocked from the entire ordeal, almost likely couldn't believe someone who they trusted could be so cruel to them. Shrek and Smurf began to look close to normal. Thank goodness. There are people who are brave and kind enough to save these two precious kittens. The kittens are doing really well, and their cheeky characters are becoming more apparent. It's still unimaginable how anyone could find the in themselves to treat animals with such utter disrespect. The ink could have a long-term impact on the kittens, who are believed to have been color-coded ahead of being thrown to a pack of dogs. It is believed that players would bet on which animal would die first, and they were colored. so each person's kitten could be identified. Thankfully, even though they might have had a rather rough start, these two Ardo kittens are getting a second chance. Now, BCOR is the chosen start for police and other emergency services in West Yorkshire with injured or but cats and kitten. The charity has 21 volunteer carers and is currently looking after just about 80 cats and kittens. It also offers a wonderful rehoming service. What do you think of people who've hurt animals? Tell us in the comments below. We love hearing what you have to say. Thanks for watching. See you next time.